What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about Babes with Blades, which is a great title, and it actually does indeed have Babes with Blades, so it lives up to that cool title. This movie is about this evil regime known as the Vizray. They've taken over, it seems like the movie kind of implies that they are kind of like almost like a band of locusts that just kind of like go from place to place and just, turn it into kind of a husk, taking everything of value and leaving nothing behind. Um, but in this particular instance, it centers in on a mining colony that's currently under their control. They're oppressing the people. It's a terrible situation. There's a band of resistance fighters, but they're it's kind of a ragtag organization. It doesn't seem like they're really going to be able to make much of a dent. At the same time, there's a woman named Azura who is fighting in this arena, basically for the viewing pleasure of the Vizray and as a way to kind of satiate the masses, I guess. She's a total badass. She, is just beating everybody. And it just so happens that whenever the resistance fighters storm the arena to kind of strike out at the Vizray, they end up being able to liberate Azura. And again, it turns out that she might be the piece that's missing in their resistance team that could help them fight back against this gigantic oppressive regime. And the movie also kind of has a subplot where one of the higher ups in the Vizray is a childhood friend of Azura, and so she struggles because she remembers him as what he was, not as what he's turned into. And so there's a lot going on in this movie. You can clearly tell that they didn't have a lot of money to work with, but they were really able, and I mean, an indie sci-fi fantasy movie, you don't see a lot of those anyway, but they were really able to use creativity and inventiveness to really overcome those budget limitations here. They used some really creative, interesting locations that kind of, you were like, wow, is that like, it looked like stuff that you would find in like this mining colony. It was really cool. They've also used a lot of like cosplay inspired costumes, a lot of steampunk stuff, a lot of like Neo Amazon looking clothes. So it was really interesting that they were able to kind of build this world that felt like kind of a worn down futuristic world. It was I think they did a great job of overcoming those budget limitations. Obviously it's still evident at times because the movie can't have the grand scope that the story kind of calls for, but under the circumstances, I mean, this movie is super ambitious, and I think they did a great job of world building and of kind of giving it that sci-fi grand feel on a pretty limited budget. Cecily Faye is the writer, director, producer. She did the score, and she's also the lead actress in it. So that's insane. She has a few other credits for acting, but she's also done quite a bit of stunt work, and that's definitely evident in this movie. There are a lot of fight scenes, and while they're not like, AAA level fight scenes, they're really good. They're really fun to watch. Like the hand-to-hand stuff is really cool. The blade work is a lot of fun. So this is not a movie where they promise sci-fi fantasy and you get like one or two scenes of action or sci-fi, fantasy. This movie is packed with it. There are a ton of action scenes. It's always has that like sci-fi fantasy feel to it. I was just really impressed with it. It had a very like British European feel to it. It honestly, like, I could see this as being like a TV show. Like, I think it would be really cool to see more adventures that take place within this world. While I liked it, I can definitely see why some people maybe wouldn't, because it is kind of low budget and the cast is not, elite level acting, but I still think they did fine. I mean, you can't expect the absolute world from, a low budget DTV movie, but I think they did a great job with it. But again, I can understand why some people would find it to be a little bit hokey or corny. But I thought it was really fun. It doesn't have any sleaze. It does have a lot of violence in it, but it's not, it's some like CGI blood, but it's not, super graphic or anything like that. Another thing that I really liked about it, in addition to just like the cool, like, world building visuals, is that they like really went out of their way to have some really cool scenes to where like they were able to use color and shadow. So they really like milked every ounce of potential, out of the money that they did have. I really liked Babes with Blades. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of sci-fi fantasy. It's just really cool. I really had a good time with it. I'm super impressed by it. I hope they do a sequel, or I hope that they get like it gets turned into a TV show or something. So that's Babes with Blades. Definitely don't dismiss it and think that it's like, because it does have kind of like a soft core kind of title to it, but it's definitely not. This is sci-fi fantasy, indie sci-fi fantasy at that. That's my review of Babes with Blades. I hope you liked it. If you do, please do drop a sub for me. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me to continue to make great content here and to seek out kind of off the radar movies like Babes with Blades and bring them to you guys. And hopefully, this will help them get a few more views for their movie. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and Letterboxd now at Mark Fusion. You can check out my full write-up of Babes with Blades on my website, markfusion.com, as well as hundreds of other reviews of all kinds of movies, TV shows, video games, new content every single day, 7 days a week. Thank you so much for watching this video. I seriously appreciate it. Make sure you check out Babes with Blades. It's a really fun movie. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time.